Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of Deeply Retail, a podcast focused on the modern retail journey through the lens of technology, innovation, and creativity. For our first podcast, we're in conversation with Dhruv Toshniwal, founder of the Pant Project. TPP is a true D2C success story of the digital first brand that beautifully has scaled now to 15 stores across India and counting. With a family background in textile manufacturing for 50 years, they're now reimagining what fit means with technology and fabric innovation. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast. And today we are honored to have the founder of Pant Project, Dhruv, with us. Dhruv, thank you for coming to our podcast. It's lovely having you. Thanks. So what do you think about Chennai? You're enjoying it?
Yeah, so excited to be in Chennai after a while. And I'm glad the Pant Project brings me here. We'll soon be opening a store in Ananagar,
Awesome.
2nd Avenue, prime retail in Chennai. And it's been nice as a digital first brand to be moving offline. We spent the first 4 years of our existence primarily selling through our website, pantproject.com. And we've been in physical retail now for 2 years, got 15 stores, but really excited with the potential in Chennai for a brand like the Pant Project to grow.
That's awesome. I mean, tell us more about your journey. I mean, two of us were founders. It's awesome to have an actual founder to founder conversation. It's refreshing, honestly. I was just wondering, I'd love for the audience to know more about your story as a founder, your journey to getting to this stage, and anything else you'd like to share.
Yeah. Come from a family that's been in apparel manufacturing for 50 years. So we understand, the supply side of this industry fairly well. Product is something we really obsess about. And for us, product is the physical, pant itself. We do a lot of innovation and fabric technology, making sure these are engineered for comfort for our, audience. I think what excites me about building a consumer brand is seeing someone using your product in the physical world every single day. And I'm really excited by the consumer opportunity in India. Started the brand with my brother, Udit. He's a creative, he looks at the marketing, demand creation, product design elements of this business. I look at more of the finance, the tech, the ops, the demand fulfillment function in this business. And I think it's really nice when you see a huge white space in a category where no one's innovated for the last 20 years. You see an opportunity to build something that's really functional, in a market that's fast growing. And you have partners like you guys at Imersive who've been tech forward in helping us understand the potential of technology to improve retail experiences across brand journeys.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to double click into what you mentioned about a category that hasn't innovated in 20 plus years. Tell us more about that and what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so Udit and I both spent time in the US. I spent 8 years there, 4 years at undergrad at Wharton, 4 years working in management consulting. Came back after consuming a lot of digital first brands in the US, brands like Bonobos. And you'd come back to India and just felt like there was a set of legacy brands that in the last 20 years have been selling in the same way, the same product, with the same retail and digital experience to a consumer who has evolved a lot. Yeah. And so when you look at the Indian consumer landscape, the millennial and Gen Z is the force of the future. They like to consume digitally. They really care about comfort. They're fairly, knowledgeable about product, and brands haven't updated, in our opinion, to that. So we felt there's an opportunity in a category which is a very fit-focused category. And I think in pants, uncomfortable pants ruin your day, right?
Absolutely.
And it's like underwear or shoes. Like once you find a brand that works for you, you just buy the same thing again and again because fit is so important. And honestly, on the fit part too, we've understood over time that sizing is like the number one killer of apparel brands. Like if you get sizing wrong, your returns and exchanges just go through the roof. And I'd say there's two things that kill apparel brands. It's like inventory. So if you get the style wrong and the fits wrong, you just end up having a lot of inventory that ages and you can't sell through.
Dead stock,
dead stock. And the second is sizing. Like if you can't get sizing and fit right, and pants are complex products. I think around the seat, around the crotch area, the hip, the thigh, it needs to be really comfortable. So we do a lot of engineering around that to give features, functionality, fabrics that can solve for fit around, the critical parts of a pant. So that's been some of the innovation that we focus on.
Yeah, awesome. And When you talk about innovation, is it fabric oriented? Like, tell us a little bit more about what you mean by innovation for Pant Project.
Yeah, we break down innovation in three ways: fit, fabric, and functionality, and all of it leads to comfort. When we say fit, we have sizing data on over 2 lakh Indian men, 10 million plus data points on sizing, and we use that to make sure there's fit consistency. So a pain point for brands is you go to some brands and you buy a 36, you're not a 36 in all sizes. You're sometimes a 38 in one fit and a 34 in another. We try to provide size consistency, and so there's innovation on making sure each of the fabrics is set to that, fit and spec and size, so that once you're a 36 in Pant Project, you're always a 36. And it's also unique to the Indian body type. I think the Indian body type has peculiarities. We tend to have larger hips and thighs. We tend to have skinnier bottom openings, so fit for the Indian body type. A simple example is Indian men, typically middle-aged, would have a belly, and you'd see them wear their pants like too low, and their butt crack shows.
Yeah.
Or they wear them too high, and they're like uncomfortable in the belly button.
They look pregnant.
So we've given these pants a nice belly cut, like a gentle slope where the belly would just sit over it comfortably. And men put this on and they're like, oh, wow, this is really comfortable, but I don't know why. And, it's actually not something we market because you can't tell a customer, hey, you're fat, like we made a belly cut. But it's just something when a customer puts it on, he's like, oh, this is really comfortable. So fit is number one.
Yeah.
I think on fabric, that's our core expertise. And we spend a lot of time. We spend like 4 to 6 months often developing core fabric technology, right from the yarn level. So for example, India's a hot country. We may work on a hollow fiber yarn to give fabric that breathability and coolness for the Indian climate. To the fabric itself, a ton of stretch, recovery, bounce, durability. I think Indians are not price conscious, but value conscious. And so they want products to last, not fade, be wrinkle resistant, easy to care for. And also on the dyes and chemicals, we've launched this Ink Lock Black 30 wash, no fade jeans. And that's a dye stuff innovation that we've done over, 5 years with a partner, where you make sure that not only does the jean not fade, but, it sort of holds its shape and form over the life of the jean. Awesome. So fabric, and the third is functionality. And functionality, I mean, things like our waistband has a flex tech waistband, 2 inches of stretch, gives you that little bit of, men tend to move up and down on size, gives you that bit of comfort. Or even like a shirt gripper, which is something that we borrowed from the women's lingerie industry, where bra straps typically have these silicone dots on them so they don't slip off.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think for us, innovation is a combination of things we do on our own plus learnings from other industries adapted to our industry. And the 50 years of experience in textile technology is what gives us that insight into what's happening globally and what we can adapt to our consumer and our industry.
And on a global scale, do you think that India is actually taking a lead on that textile innovation? Because I mean, ultimately, a lot of textile is being imported from India. It's coming from Bangladesh. It's coming from.
I think something we desperately want to change at the Pant Project is a perception that Indian product is not as good as best in global. And I have a lot of, from the time I spent in the US, friends who would only consume a certain ABC pant, broad, and they'd pay $100+ for it. And our thought is, why can't we engineer something that's as good quality and offer it at 20, 30, $40? And, the idea is, you can really capture large TAM in a country like India if you do that. Great product
value for money, and you crack that in India, you can crack that anywhere in the world. Honestly,
exactly.
Wow, that's brilliant. This was a question actually one of my Gen Z employees asked me. They said, "Please ask Dhruv this question." Imagine you're in a meeting, okay, and you spilled coffee on your pants. What is one pant, if you had to run into your store and pick up one pant that like you will swear by, right? What would that pant be?
Yeah, we actually have a pant called the All-Weather Essential. And we call it the Awesome Pant in our office, AWE for all weather. And it's awesome because if you spilled coffee in it, it would just sort of drip right off.
Oh,
it's water repellent. Yeah.
Okay, I need to buy this.
It's water repellent and stain repellent. Awesome. And we actually built this for the Mumbai monsoon. So the insight was, we'd see customers wear these heavy overpants and wear gumboots to the office and come really uncomfortable. The socks get wet if something splashes, puddle when you get out of the car. And so we said, why don't we build a water repellent pant that looks formal? You can wear it to the office. It's breathable, it's wrinkle resistant. So that's the all-weather essential.
Okay, so I definitely need to buy that like literally tomorrow because I'm very clumsy and everyone who knows me will vouch for that. Okay, I mean, one thing, we've been working together for maybe a couple of months now, almost a year actually.
It feels like much longer. The pace at which we've done stuff has been super fast. So
Yeah.
feels like we've known each other a long time.
No, honestly, I mean, I feel like that's a founder to founder thing. I think the hardship bonds us. It's never easy to innovate. It's never easy to challenge the status quo. And one thing I genuinely have admired about working with you, Dhruv, is you've always questioned why do things have to happen the way they do. And one thing, textile innovation, I've definitely seen that, and Udit, and your passion for that is visible, and your products actually say that, and your customers tell that. But
Thank you.
one thing you've recently done, which I think we've been involved with as well, is bringing in the technology aspect to upgrading and innovating what an offline shopping experience, or even the online eventually, would look like. I would like for you to actually talk a little bit more about what your vision is for what does the store of the future look like? How does technology come in, right? I mean, as a podcast, we like to think of ourselves as not just a fashion related podcast, but what else is new, right? In the world of tech, in the world of AI, what makes Pant Project better than everyone else?
Yeah. You were talking about innovation, and I'd say brands haven't innovated on three fronts. One is on the marketing side, and that's obviously a brand start losing relevance if they're not doing things to be relevant to the younger audience or the millennial consumer. The second is on the product side, and I spoke a bit about that. But I think actually the largest opportunity is on the technology side. And I think Indian consumer brands, especially offline first brands, have been very slow to move in adopting futuristic tech to improve customer experience. And I think the point that gets lost often here is people obsess over the tech itself. What we managed to do working together is always start from a first principles of how does this affect consumer experience? And it's easy to get lost in building cool tech for cool tech's sake. But it's very important to do it to improve customer experience. And I think tech can help across various parts in the retail journey. And the way we break it down together is the first is when someone walks into your store, can you help them find the right size and fit for their body type? We've built Imersive has built a wonderful tool that we use in our stores to get body sizing data, but it doesn't just stop at getting the right size, right? It's like once I know your size, I also profile what you're wearing, and style is such an important part of fashion that you can correlate. Hey, a customer walks in with brown shoes, they're likely to wear navy pants and a white shirt. And they either wear a white shirt or a baby blue shirt, and they either wear navy pants or dark brown pants. So you should recommend this to them. I think that's really cool because then a customer walks in with white sneakers and the salesperson knows immediately, hey, I should be pushing dark blue jeans and a black t-shirt because this is what a customer who wears white sneakers most often buys. I think that recommendation engine is something that AI and the tech you guys are building has helped us a lot with. And we've just scratched the surface. I think we're in very early days of experimenting here. And these are just two problem statements, but I think right from how you lay out a store, the visual merchandising of it today is more of an art and less of a science. And with tech and data, you can make it more of a science basis where people are spending time in a store, what they're spending time browsing, what they're spending time purchasing and not. And I think tech there can build massive moats for a business. So I think the consumer brands who adopt tech for tech's sake are probably going to struggle, but the ones who do it with consumer experience in mind are the ones who are most likely to be successful.
Let's fast forward 5 years from now, and I want you to paint the picture of what Pant Project will look like in 5 years. Whether it's completely as a founder, one of my favorite things to do is actually understand a founder's vision, because in a way it's so beautiful. It's like a canvas, right? And every single year, every single step is just one stroke that adds to that canvas to make that painting. I'd love to know what that painting is for you.
Yeah, so today, 5 years in, we're an India-focused brand selling just primarily men's pants within a certain set of categories: formals, smart casuals, jeans, our newest launch category and fastest growing. I think 5 years from now, we could be India and international. We could be doing more than the type of men's pants we're doing. Athleisure, massive opportunity. We could even be doing more than men's pants. And the styling part of it is interesting because people are walking into our store and saying, I want a t-shirt, I want a shirt, I want a polo, what should I pair this with? We could be doing more than men's, but I don't know. It's a whole new business in itself. We would definitely have far larger distribution. And I think we're at 15 stores today, but India is a market. When you get the store model right, you can have 100 plus stores, hundreds of stores across the country. And I think from a consumer experience perspective, you'd walk into a store, and I'd hope the store is a tech-enabled store of the future. And I think where the retail experience is broken today is people view a store as a place to store goods and physically trade goods. We'd like to see a store as that plus a place to interact with the brand as an experience center where the brand can learn more about you and you can learn more about the brand, so that we personalize the experience to your taste and your size preferences. And that actually makes you have a more enjoyable experience because you're not taking 6 products that are irrelevant to you into a trial room, having to change your pants every single time and then be like, oh, I only liked 1 or 2 of them. With recommendation, we can have you take 6 in and probably walk out with 5 out of the 6 that you like.
And give exactly what you were looking for in context: better, faster, more efficient. And, I'm curious, you mentioned offline. What about online? What does online look like? And does customer journey just stop with an offline, or is this something that you think that is going to become more and more bridged?
I think omnichannel is the buzzword here, but the key to omnichannel is you're treating that customer as one customer regardless of where he buys, and having the seamless data flow so that when he comes back online or when he first buys online and comes offline, you treat Roshan as Roshan, the same Roshan who bought online and offline. While it sounds simple, it's actually harder than you would know. It's not that easy to do. And so having those identifiers is important. I think the online journey is one where you're dealing with a 2D image of a product today. And so if you can make that 3D and sort of virtual try on and make it feel much more realistic to what it would be like to have the product with you physically.
Personalize it,
that would be a massive driver of online, experience. And I think online is great for, obviously convenience, comfort of shopping. The breadth of catalog you can show online is far greater than you can show in a physical offline store. So it's the online to offline. But if you had to ask me a vision for 5 years from now, I think there will be 3 sets of consumers. There'll be the set of consumers who just likes to shop from the comfort of their home. They never like to go to a store. They just want things with the click of a button. There'll be the set of customers who hates online, just only wants to go physically. And there'll be a large set of customers who overlaps in both. And I'm just most excited by that intersection base of customers because I think the pool of just online and just offline is shrinking and the pool of omni is growing.
And you think that the Gen Z millennial target audience is in that intersection, or would you say they're leaning towards?
I think that post-COVID, during COVID, there was this whole narrative around offline is dead, and we're definitely seeing that's not true. And we're definitely seeing offline plus online is way more powerful than either independently. Even for a Gen Z or millennial consumer, for the Pant Project, 75% of our consumers are 18 to 45 years old. So we're a fairly young consumer base. And we're seeing that behavior across, they love to shop across channels.
I mean, 18-year-olds still need pants.
And 18-year-olds need them tomorrow at the latest. They want them in like 30 minutes or an hour. So that quick commerce trend of faster delivery. You ask about technology. I think another one on tech is omni fulfillment. Stuff that you can do so that you use your store as a micro warehouse in a neighborhood and you can deliver within a certain polygon of your store in 30 minutes or an hour.
So almost like your store becomes a warehouse, a dark store in a way, where it's less about selling in the store, more about actually product discovery, experience in store, and then fulfillment.
Or about both. And you sweat the store resources harder by having it fulfill both online and offline demand.
Interesting. Do you think that quick commerce, just totally off topic. I've heard various opinions about this, and I think it's a very hot topic right now. I'm curious. I have my own thoughts, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on quick commerce and all these apps and everything that's coming up.
I think there's a set of products for which you need quick, and it's a great habit, and that's primarily groceries and medicines and maybe some household items. I think for a product like apparel and fashion, it's a nice to have, but once it's a habit, it will become something a large set of consumers use.
True.
I think the definition of quick for me in pants, it's okay if it takes 12 to 24 hours. I don't need them in 30 minutes to an hour. But if I get it in 30 minutes to an hour, it's delight, and it'll definitely reduce RTOs, returns, exchanges from the delight factor of getting them so quickly. I think the biggest challenge quick com apps face, at least in apparel first, is customer acquisition.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the installed base platforms, which already exist and have millions of consumers, have an advantage, both on having built out a distribution network already, as well as having an installed base of customers. And so I'd be curious to see how the emergent vertical native marketplaces in just apparel tackle the CAC journey. And I'd be curious to know if it's just the throw VC dollars at it and give 500 rupee discounts on first purchase, or if there's actually a way to build a unit economic positive business around this.
So I actually want to double tap into CAC. I mean, for the audience that doesn't understand what our terminology is, can you break it down like as simple as you can? If I was a new age founder trying to start a business, what does CAC mean? Why is that important?
Yeah.
And what is maybe something, if you can follow up on that Pant Project has done that has overall reduced? What is your CAC strategy?
Yeah, I think honestly, CAC is cost of customer acquisition, and it's so pivotal because in a consumer brand, you typically have three large costs: your COGS, which is your cost of your product itself; your CAC, which is your cost of new customer acquisition; and then your overheads, which could be things like your rents and your salaries and your operating costs that you need to keep the lights on. And I think COGS can be optimized to a certain level, but you can't optimize them too much because you'll sacrifice quality of the product when you try to get them to zero. And I think it's important to invest in product. I would say rather invest in product than invest in marketing, because then you're actually giving value to the consumer. And we're very conscious of that at the Pant Project. People would say your gross margins can be way higher, and I'm like, yes, they're not that high because I'm actually giving value to the consumer. And CAC is where there's huge brand synergies as the brand compounds over time. And I think CAC is an awareness problem at the initial days that's very hard to solve. For us, Meta and Google have been the two largest microphones, but I think there are new age ways that are emerging that are more efficient. Influencer, especially regional influencer being one of those, and whatever you can do to drive larger word of mouth or organic search being another. Or long form content, content being another way to drive down CAC. But Meta and Google, obviously very large microphones. And I think the other is driving retention. So people look at just cost of customer acquisition, but it's the repeat rates that actually determine the sustainability of your business in the long term. And so it's CAC to LTV, lifetime value of your consumer, which is how many years you can keep them for and how much they can spend with you over the lifetime that you have them as a consumer, that you need to really optimize for. Because again, even with CAC, you'll drive it down to a certain point in time, but then you'll hit a threshold where it's going to cost you some marketing dollars. LTV can keep growing as the brand goes stronger because you can sell more and more products to the same consumer over a larger period of time.
And I think that ties back to what innovation means for Pant Project, right? You're trying to actually maximize LTV through delighting customers, right? Whether that's fit through better technology experiences that bring in personalization into the context of the shopping experience, to even just generally like just delighting the customer. And that's actually how your strategy to LTV.
Yes, yeah. We definitely think we're an LTV business. We like the men's pants category because it's a very sticky category.
100%.
You can be a customer for tens of years, decades.
Yeah, I mean, once, especily men, we're creatures of habit ultimately. I like something, I'm going to just keep going back to what I like and what I know. 100%. And I think within D2C India, I don't see many category leaders like you guys, the way you're focused on, materials, textiles, innovation. So it's very interesting on your perspective on what LTV means and what that means in terms of your overall strategy. Now, how does technology help as well with CAC, right? In a world of AI, right? There's what you mentioned, Meta. All of these are like cost centers, right? Everyone's throwing money at Meta, right?
Yeah.
But is there any new strategies that are coming in where you're reducing your CAC by maybe capturing, other forms of data?
Yeah, so there's a few things we're doing there. Obviously, we're using a ton of technology to create content and creating more and more diverse content. So that would only be possible to a certain extent with humans. With AI, you can build more hooks, more call to actions, more varieties of the same content, more angles, and that definitely helps you bring CAC down. But I think the larger one is personalization. And so if you can get to know your customer over his entire journey, and stuff we're working on where every time they click on a product and add it to cart, that's an indication of something they like, regardless of whether they buy it or not. And every time they swipe left and move away from a product catalog with high bounce rate, that's something they don't like. You can start correlating, what they like and what they don't like, and start showing them more of what they're likely to like. I think that level of personalization, or even where your web page to someone browsing in Chennai in the winter looks very different from your web page to someone browsing in Delhi in the winter.
Correct.
Because the weather is totally different and their needs are going to be, someone wants a woolen pant in Delhi, and in Chennai it's still very pleasant through the winter. Yeah, they still want linen. Exactly.
It's hot. Yeah. It's very hot. Let's not be subtle about
I think it's that personalization layer that is the tech hack. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's I think pretty much all the questions I had. I think if you had any wisdom, let's just say you had to go back 5 years ago, if there was one thing that you could redo, we all have mistakes, right? I'm a founder. There's so many fires you have to put out. One fire, then 3 more fires. But if there was one thing you could go back in time, and if you could just redo it completely, what would that be?
Honestly, I don't have many regrets. I think you learn something from everything in the journey. But if I had to, I would build a top team even faster. And now I would say I'm really proud of the team we have at the Pant Project. And we have some kick-ass people across the board. But as a founder, when you're in your early days, you're resource starved and you're trying to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
I think the faster you can get out of that and start getting really smart people solving smart problems for you, the more likely you are to be able to build a learning organization that sustains over really long. I think what I'm proud of over there is from the early folks that joined us, we still do have a lot of them with us 5 years into the journey, and building that culture is really, really important, for a brand. But yeah, I would invest in people 1 to 2 layers ahead of where you want to be, even before you have the means to, because that's an investment that compounds over time. I think people, product, and tech are 3 areas of the business I would invest relentlessly in. And that would actually reduce your dependence on needing to invest in marketing. It's very easy to throw the dollars at just, ad campaigns.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to solve some of these,
I like that. PPT, people, product, tech.
TPP scrambled.
TPT scrambled, yeah. That's awesome. No, I think thanks, Dhruv, for your time today. I think we've spent a lot of time deep diving into what it means to be a TPT, but why don't you...
I wanted to add one more thing. You were saying something about, we've been focused in our approach to building. And I just want to share, what has really worked in the partnership of Imersive and Pant Project is the focus on technology roadmap. And I think we've said no to a lot of things so that we can build what's really, really important. And we've been very clear, right? Sizing is a super important problem. Let's just keep going deeper and deeper into solving it.
Yeah.
Once you solve sizing, try-on is a very important problem. Let's keep going deeper and deeper into styling and recommendation. And we have a bucket list of other problems we want to solve.
Yeah.
But not now. Let's go one by one by one.
Because ultimately, you're prioritizing still that premium customer experience, because it ties back actually to this conversation. And the LTV, the CAC, it all ties back to putting your customer first.
And there's so much more you can do within the existing problem to make it more accurate. Okay, you're at an X% accuracy on sizing today. Can you improve that by another few percentage points? Better spending resources doing that than trying to solve a 5th problem and half-ass solving 6 problems.
True.
It's better to go really deep into a few problems. I think that's a philosophy we really believe in. We're the Pant pros, we're the experts at pants. We take really great pride in our product. And we want to be known as the best in India or the best in the world at this. And I think it's a similar approach with you guys in technology where, you may do a few set of things for a consumer, but you want every consumer to really love you. I think you guys do a great job of keeping the number of brands you work with, at least today, narrow, but serving them deeply so that each one of them is your microphone to bring in new customers. And yeah, just being very laser focused on speed of execution. We've only worked together less than a year, but I think what we've built together in a year is 5 years of work for a lot of others. And I think that speed of execution is what defines a startup versus an already scaled up venture. And I think our only edge, our only way to compete against guys with much more distribution or dollars than us is to move fast.
Speed.
Yeah, to move
speed,
fast.
Quality, keeping the customer first. No, thanks for the shout out. I truly appreciate it. And it has been an honor to work with you. I have learned so much from you over the last, couple of months we've been working. Yes, it feels like 2-3 years. Feel like we've gone through a lot of problems, a lot of solutions, and I am very excited to see where the TPP goes. And
Thank you.
I'm a big believer in you and Udit and the entire team. Fantastic team, Sharat. I mean,
That's what I said about people. I mean, Sharat's just coming with a bunch of knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm very excited for this Chennai store, man. It's such an awesome market, and Ananagar is where, bustling food.
where did you end up? When is it opening?
Yeah, it's just a couple of months away. So I think by the time this launches, it should be less than a couple of months. It may even be open.
Awesome.
But yeah, we'll be in Ananagar 2nd Avenue, and first store in Chennai. So very excited for that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm buying those awesome pants that you mentioned. I've spilled, like, white is my biggest enemy. So I'm going to pick up a white anti-coffee stain pant immediately as soon as I get a chance. Because, I mean, just before this podcast, my mom was like, why are you wearing this? Don't have coffee and do it.
You're also so tall. You're also so tall. Everything is going to have to be longer on size.
Yeah, absolutely. But
awesome.
custom pants from now on only. Thank you, Dhruv, for your time.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the next steps. We'll hopefully do this again as a part 2 of this episode and see. Let's see in a year where we are.
Congratulations on kicking off your podcast. All the best.
Thank you for being our first. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.